Welcome back, Legendary Potato here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can efficiently find and make a slime farm in Minecraft Console Edition. So I'm going to be doing this on Xbox 360, but it does work for all console editions and Java as well as Bedrock. And so I'm going to be showing you guys how you can do it, how you can set up a slime farm, so you can have unlimited slime blocks, slime balls, sticky pistons, whatever you need, of course. And so I'm going to be starting a new world to this example, but you can be using your current survival world. But you want to make sure you're able to identify the seed of your world, and this is going to be important here in just a second. So my sample seed here is 1, 2, 3. You can check your seed, of course, when you before you load the world. You can see what your seed is. Make sure you write that down. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend this is our survival world here. We're just going to load up a random world and then we'll get started. So here we are in our world, so pretty much you can set up your base, do whatever you want. Of course, once you're probably playing in survival, you've probably been in this world for a while and you want to find slime somewhere. So let's go ahead and get started with that. And so I guess the first thing we want to mention is that you can pretty much do this anywhere in your world, but I'd recommend you try and find a good place near your base. So that way when you're around your base, you can still have slime spawning under the ground. And so I'm going to be using a website which is going to allow me to track where good slime chunks are, because slime chunks work by having 10% of the chunks be slime chunks, which are chunks that slime spawn in, which is why they're so rare to find underground unless you have one of these things set up. So right here on the screen is pretty much what this chunk, or what this seed's chunks are for the slimes. And so the green ones represent slime chunks. And so you can see some areas that are completely empty. You can see other areas where they're just completely combined together pretty much. And so what we want to do is we want to find some chunks where they're really well combined together. So I just took the coordinates of where I am right now, and I'm actually right above a slime chunk. And so if I go ahead and zone into that area there, as you can see, I'm right, pretty much right next to one. But if I wanted to go a little bit closer to the right, you can see that there's actually a bunch of them all grouped up. There's 5 of them grouped up right there. And so if I went over to there and kind of figured out where that is, so I can go ahead and do that. I'm going to put my coordinates over there and figure out exactly where that is. So right here is where I put the coordinates on it on the website. And so if I dig down from here, I will be inside a slime chunk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig down into here. I'm going to go down to a very low Y level. So I'd recommend you go down to about Y equals 12. And so we'll go ahead and do that here, of course. Looks like we're going to run into caves and stuff, but not a problem, of course. Just kind of make sure you light them up. If you're doing this in survival, you want to be careful, of course, because obviously mobs and stuff. But as we keep going down, of course, we're at Y40, and we want to go down to Y12. Although you can do it higher up, slimes will spawn up to, I believe, Y equals 40, somewhere around there. So you can actually build this up a lot higher. So we could actually do this at 16 if we really wanted to, which is also a good one because less likely to run into lava this way. And so what we want to do is, if you want to be, just go crazy, if you don't really care too much about, using the most of your space, you can just dig out like crazy and just get this area going. But if you want to be a little bit more efficient, you can mark out the chunks and you can dig out the area of those chunks. And so if you go back over to the screenshot here, of course it says from 288 to 272 and then 303 to 87. And so as you can see there, we can pretty much use this to mark out each of these chunks. And so if I were to go and just kind of start clearing out according to those, so let's go ahead and do one of them here. So as you can see, I'm in one of the corners, and so this will be the corner of one of the chunks. And so if I kind of do a 16 by 16 square in this chunk, this will be a chunk for slimes and stuff. So if I continue digging all of this out, yeah, I can gather the coal. There's actually an emerald here, which is actually pretty neat. So you can find cool stuff down here as well. If you're in a hill biome like me, then you can probably find emeralds like me, but not likely. So then it also tells me it goes up to 303. So if you dig out to 303, and so we can pretty much mark out the outside boundaries of this. But as well as that, since there's chunks connected, we can continue expanding out further in the future, of course. But we just want to do one chunk for now. You probably don't want to do too much digging. You just want to get some slimes right now, don't you? So you want to do that, and then if you want to make this bigger, which will make it more efficient, then you can of course expand with the chunks, which is why we put this in an area where there's a lot of chunks around us, so that pretty much you can expand it and make it a lot more efficient. Side note as well, it's a good thing to light up the place with torches. Well, 1, because mobs will spawn in here, but 2, because slimes don't really need to, or have darkness. They don't need darkness at all. You can have the room all lit up, and they'll still spawn in here, so they spawn regardless of light levels. And so just to have it work out, if you just have the light in the room, that way there will be only slimes that spawn in here. So once you're done, your room should look something by this. It should be a 16 by 16 by 3 room. So something like this where it just kind of works out. And of course I ran into a gravel pit, so this kind of here might happen, of course. But yeah, so this is what you need to do. So this is one chunk here. And so now we gotta leave this room because slimes won't spawn in here if we're too close. So we can just kind of stand somewhere like up here so that there's potential for them to spawn. And of course, I'd recommend you light up nearby caves. That way there's less chance of hostile mobs spawning. And so that if there's less hostile mobs, then there's more chance that a slime can spawn instead. So like, for example, that skeleton there, if we can just avoid him spawning, that would just make it a little bit more efficient. But keep in mind, this step will be kind of annoying because caves can spawn quite a lot. And, you know, it can kind of help a little bit. As you can see, I just came down here and a slime just spawned. So right there, we have one. So we can just go ahead and kill him and get the slime balls and everything like that. So life is all great there. As you can see, our slime chunk worked as we expected it to. Just by going around and doing stuff in the cave, we were able to wait and get a slime. So as you can see, it does work. And if you want to expand out, of course, you can keep digging out. Just go 16 blocks out to a certain direction, of course, according to the website, where it's a good idea to do that. But if you're happy with this, if you're happy with this small room, you can keep it like this and you're all set. If you're like me and you like being efficient, I'm going to dig out another chunk and do pretty much what I did before. And so having 2 chunks will actually probably be close to double the efficiency, just because there's the extra space allowing them to spawn, and just as well as just having more areas where, you know, potentially less mobs will spawn in like other places as well, because there's going to be more slimes down here, and then it'll just kind of help out in general. So I'd recommend you do this. You don't have to. If you're happy with your 1 chunk, you can keep that. As you can see, I now have 2 of these chunks cleared out, so the space is much larger now. And so I'm going to wait up there for a little bit as well, and we'll see if we get any spawning down here. As you can see, we have a bunch of slimes in here now. So we have a small one and we have a medium one, and it looks like they both spawned inside this chunk, so we didn't get any occurrence over in this one. But as you can see, it is working. I promise I didn't spawn any in with slime, the spawn eggs. I promise I didn't use any of these. These are all just legitimately spawning. So you know that this is legit, it's working. And so it's a really easy way to figure out how your seed works and pretty much determine where the slimes are going to spawn. So I was able to do that with this world, and I was able to pretty much make these chunks, and so I'm able to get slimes spawning in here, so I can just get their slime balls and everything's good there. I think mob drops are off, so of course I'm not getting anything, but put that on, of course then we'll get some. So come over here, get some slime balls, pretty standard, and you can keep doing that for a little bit, and you'll have plenty of slime blocks in no time. So really easy. Look at that. Okay, you can make this thing fully automatic too. So if you wanted to like dig out certain areas and make like water channels and like take them to some lava place, you can do that. Like do something like this and like dig out all this. I'm not going to make any sort of tutorial for this, but of course you can be very creative. You can come up with some sort of water channel technique and pretty much funnel them into a place where it's fully automatic, or do something like that. I think would work really well. So of course, if you want to experiment with that and see exactly what you can come up with, then I'm sure you'll find something. Alright, so I've been setting up this base because I'm bored, but just to show one more time, let's see if we have any slimes down here. Okay, as you can see, we have 1 slime right there. So, not like super duper fast or anything, but just by spending a few minutes up on the surface and then coming back down here, you can get some slimes. And of course, if I optimize the caves with more lighting and dealt with the mobs and everything like that, we could get them even faster. If I dug out a larger area, you get the idea. This is something you can definitely expand on, and of course figure out exactly how you want to do it, but I didn't really spend too long on this. I probably spent about 15 minutes just digging everything out, and now I just have unlimited slime for whenever I need it. I can just go ahead, come down here and get some more slime balls for whatever I need, of course. So quick and easy to set up. You don't need to do anything super complicated. I guess the most complicated part of this is using the website so that you can find your chunks and stuff like that, but I did show that it worked. I did find a slime chunk, which it's only 10%, so it would have been very unlikely if I was just digging in a random chunk and see if I actually got one. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Of course, if you did, make sure you do leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new to the channel so you guys can see more videos like these and your subscriptions. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comments section and I'll try to get back to you and try to answer your question about this. If this doesn't work for you, then I do apologize, but do make sure that you do select the right version, because the Bedrock ones and the Xbox ones can actually work a little bit differently, so make sure you have the right version selected for your platform. With that said, that should be everything that there is to cover with that, and you should be all set to start making slime farms. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. So have a good one, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Peace.